Welcome to the Infinity Academy from the Dice Gods. My name is Hydra, and in today's video we're going to discuss some theory behind the game. First, this is our fourth Academy video, and we'd like to say a big thanks to everyone who's been so positive and welcoming to the series so far. With another 10 to 15 videos planned over the coming months, if you find this video useful, consider giving it a like and the channel and subscribe to catch them as they come out and help spread the good word of the Dice Gods. We'd really appreciate it. And all you legends out there who have already subscribed, thanks so much. In these dark nights when we're scripting and recording, it keeps us motivated and focused, so thanks for the support. I've had the pleasure of teaching people to play Infinity for over 9 years now, and in that time there are some core ideas, golden rules if you will, which I found help newer players get their head into the game, and also help veterans sharpen up their performance too. As with all games, Infinity presents its own unique sets of challenges. One of the biggest, often beyond even the deep rules, is the way to think Infinity. How to see a set of stats, a mission, a table, or a list, and have it make sense. The first place to start is in 7 pretty simple, interconnected rules which, when you understand them and can put them into practice, you'll find the world of Infinity will open up before you. Now, whilst we're mostly an Infinity N4 channel, these will work just as well with Code 1. As with all things wargaming though, this list is subjective. Their value will vary, but if you're new to the game, these concepts will help you, so stick with them. The first rule of Infinity is, no, not that. It's that Infinity is a game of controlled aggression. Victory in Infinity revolves around the continued, considered application of aggressive pressure to both the mission and your opponent. That is to say that it's not a game for cautious play, hiding in a building all game and hoping it'll be okay, nor is it a game for charging across the board, screaming profanity and blasting wildly. Unless you play Ariadna, in which case you do you and frag away wildly, you crazy maverick. We won't get in your way. In game, you should be prepared to be continuously looking for the most effective way to apply force. And how do you do that? More on that in a minute. Our next golden rule is one which makes forehead veins pop and eyes twitch in many of my current gaming buddies. Infinity is a game of it depends. Whereas many wargaming systems have absolutes, the best list, the best combo, the best unit, the best tactic, etc., with Infinity this is much more nuanced. For example, the value of an individual unit isn't solely within its stats and points, but in how that unit fits within the list, which mission the list will be used for, what type of table you're playing on, and how you plan to use it within the bounds of the mission. Whilst you can argue some units are better than others, the complete picture will only be revealed by understanding each of the points completely. But still, you will find a lot of places on the internet where absolutes will appear. This unit is the best in faction A, and this unit is useless, things like that. The problem with these types of statements is that they are normally backed up with experience in 1 or 2 local gaming groups, called a meta in wargaming speak, and stats gleaned from the internet. These lists won these events, this player runs that. What that information usually tells you is a lot of people listen to the internet and so do a thing or don't do a thing based on what a forum says. You get what I mean. So when you're coming to pick a new miniature for your army, pick this profile over that or deploy in this way instead of that, as long as you know how that all fits together in the grand scheme of things and what you have in mind, you're doing the right thing, no matter what the internet says. Now we come to the first big, this'll make a big difference to the way you play rule. You ready? 3 words. Know your mission. Simple. With Infinity, you'll always play missions, and those missions will have objectives. These objectives score points. Each mission will, usually, let you score up to 10 objective points. At the end of the game, the player with the most objective points wins. So it is crucial that you know how you can score points and when you can score them. Let's take the Infinity Tournament System, ITS, Mission, Supplies, as an example. This mission sees 3 boxes on the middle of the board at the start of the game, which players can take control of and move around. Reading the main objectives, we see that you get 2 objective points for each box you control at the end of the game, so that gives us a maximum of 6 objective points. Then we get an extra point if we control more boxes than the enemy, 7. Another point if our opponent has 0 boxes, 8 points. And then 2 more points for classified objectives. For those unfamiliar, classified are randomized missions drawn from a deck of cards at the start of each game. This lets you know that 8 out of 10 possible objective points hinge on the supply boxes. It's in the mission's name, so we shouldn't be too shocked, but 80% of your points being there means you need to put some planning in how you're going to get those boxes and keep them. And this is when the when comes in, because those supply boxes only score at the end of the game. This means you have time. You don't need to charge across the board, grab the boxes and run away. In fact, there are some advantages to hanging back, letting your enemy commit and then stealing them from them. By contrast, Quadrant Control, another ITS mission, is all about having more army points in sectors of the board. We split up the table into 4 quadrants, and whoever has more points of an army in a quarter controls it. Honestly, these mission names write themselves, don't they? Own more quadrants to get more points. Simple. But the mission states that you score points at the end of each game round, so after both players have had their active phase, you tot up points. Fine. But that means you need to remember that you need to finish each of your turns in control of as many quadrants as possible. Fail to do that and you'll miss points, which could easily lose you the game, and in a tournament make all the difference between top table and mid table. So again, know when and how you score objective points in your games and check them at the start of each turn so that you know what you're doing with each active phase that you have. Which segues me nicely into our next rule. Have a plan. Now you know what your mission is and how you can score, you can therefore figure out what needs to be done each turn to achieve the victory. This planning stage can start with your list building. In fact, we have a couple of videos coming up on that later. But for your first games, take a minute at the start of each turn to assess where you are, what you still need to do, then create a plan to achieve it as efficiently as possible. This is very much where your controlled aggression comes in. Try to analyse what needs to happen, not what you want to happen. By that we mean don't go and hunt down that sniper on top of the building because he's scary. If he's stopping you completing your mission, or he is your mission, then sure, go to work. But if he's not impacting your ability to score points, leave him alone. Complete your plan for the turn and find yourself with a few orders to spare? Sure, have a crack. But don't spend your resources on things that don't score your objective points, because, as we discussed above, that is the only way to win a game. The next rule is a tough one, and we have all been there. Your opponent kills your newly painted mini. Or they've beaten you 3 times in a row, or they took the last beer from the fridge. The red mist comes down, it is on. As soon as that happens, they're inside your head and you are playing the man, not the mission. In fact, some unscrupulous individuals will even try to get in your head and bait you into engaging them and leaving the mission alone. Not a practice we would ever recommend, though it's fucking hilarious if you can get it right. This is when taking that time at the start of your turn comes into it again. Get back into your plan, read your mission, be clear on how you score, then go do that. Don't be baited into wasting your turn on a revenge rampage. It's one of the easiest ways to lose a game. Always, always play the mission, not the man. And if the man is the mission, then you probably have a Tom Hanks complex and need professional help. Saving Private Ryan reference there for you, just in case you missed it. Oh yes, we only reference the finest and most current popular culture on this channel, kids. Our next rule is a double-barreled one, and it's all about options. In Infinity, your job is to give yourself only good options and your opponent nothing but bad choices. So what does that mean? For your turn, engage the enemy in ways which benefit you. If you need to kill something which is good at long range, get in its face with a shotgun. If you're hunting a shotgun, slaughter him from across the field. Choose your engagements and make sure that the odds are in your favour. Ever in your favour, in fact. Oh, Hunger Games 2, we're spoiling you now. Conversely, make sure your opponent can't get close to your long-range weapons and that your short-range weapons are all bunkered up so he has to get to their sweet spot. As you learn the game, you'll see that there is a lot more to this than just the ranges of weapons. Infinity is a game where there are hard counters for most things and soft ones for everything. So learn what offsets what and begin to strategize the when and how to apply these counters. This is when your local meta, playstyle and taste will come into it. For example, with the mission supplies which we discussed above, you could bring mine laying troops who can deploy on the midline. If you're going second in the game, then your opponent can't just walk up to a box and take it. There's a mine and an angry dude there too. That has to be dealt with or gotten around, slowing or speed bumping him. If he ignores it, the mine and or troop could kill his troop. If he engages them, he's burning his turn and could still die in ARO. I used to play in a meta where lots of players brought a type of remote which is really powerful in ARO. They have a skill called total reaction which lets them shoot a full burst from their weapon rather than just one shot. So with a heavy machine gun, that would be 4 shots coming back at you rudely in ARO. To counter that, I would bring a parachuting hacker, land it behind and just immobilize them, or smoke grenades so they couldn't see. Learning how to control the table and give yourself the advantage whilst denying the opponent good options is a key skill, and the sooner you begin to get in the habit, the stronger player you'll be. But start simple, always shoot your weapons from good range, from cover, and at the bad range of your enemy. When you can do that reliably, move on to the next trick. And for our last rule, don't give up. Infinity is an odd game where you can be getting your face smushed into a fine pace but still pull out a win. As long as you have troopers on the board, as long as you have orders, as long as you have a way to score objective points or stop your opponent from getting them, you're still in the game. Over the years, the number of times I've seen a player dominate turns 1 and 2 to lose in turn 3, I can't even count, and even though sometimes I've been the player to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, it's very much why I still love the game. So when all is bleak and lost, strap on your man pants, take a breath, take a minute to review your objective points, consider your plan, and then you get back out there, Tiger. When all has gone to hell, there's nothing left to lose. Get stuck in and pull back some points. You'll be amazed how often they'll see you pull out a draw or even a cheeky win. It ain't over till it's over. So there you have them. Controlled aggression, everything depends, know your mission, have a plan, play the mission, not the man, give yourself nothing but good options and your opponent nothing but bad choices. Last of all, don't give up. Those are our 7 golden rules for playing Infinity. For experienced players, are there any you'd add? Any you'd remove? And for newbies, let us know if you have any questions in the comments below, anything you'd like clarified. We're always happy to help. But for now, that's all from the Infinity Academy. Please consider giving us a like, subscribe if you've not already, and ding the bell so you know when our next videos are out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.